2024. Let's start with roll call.
Thank you. I will proceed with roll call. Chair Anderson?
Here.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Here.
Board Member Black?
Here.
Board Member Noon?
Here.
Board Member Six?
Here.
Board Member Soffern?
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Let's move on to public comment. So this would be for general public comment. Any member of the public may address the board for up to 2 minutes on any subject that is not on today's agenda.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I have no slips. However, if anyone wishes to make a comment, please bring me a slip and we will make those arrangements. I see no one in the audience moving to do so. At this time, we'll move on to virtual comment, and I do not see any hands raised for general public comment. So we will move on to correspondence, and we did not receive any general public correspondence. So at that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Thank you. We will close public comment and move on to the approval of the minutes from the Architectural Board of Review meeting for March 4th, 2024. That was the special meeting. If everyone reviewed your own comments, that'd be good. Do we have a motion?
Yes, and I have further discussion after the second.
Okay, I'll second that.
I rambled on and on, so I took it upon myself to make it more concise and organized, and I promise the tone of the comment and the content is the same, but it's much better. And I passed it by Miss Ernest, and her review said it was satisfactory.
You will still need to verbally explain your changes. You can summarize them. I also have them pulled up on the screen here, but typically we only allow them presented in this format when a board member is absent. So if you can still please verbally explain the changes you made.
Okay, I organized it into 7 or 10 paragraphs. I don't want to read it all, but it just shifted things around a lot. I used a lot more precise language, and but the content and the tone is the same.
Okay, does anyone, oh, it's up there.
I had a comment, Ms. Chair. I just wanted to congratulate the secretary, the recording secretary at that meeting, who I think did an accurate and for the accuracy and depth of her comments that were made. That was Mariah, I believe. Yes. So.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I mean, that sounds acceptable to me. Your updates, does anyone have any thoughts? No? Okay. So we'll accept those updates and take roll call on the minutes.
Great. We'll take a vote. Chair Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Yes.
Board Member Black?
Yes.
Board Member Noon?
Yes.
Board Member Six?
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to the approval of the consent calendar minutes for March 11th.
Thank you. I will start with the March 11th consent minutes. We had one item, item A, 1319 Cacique Street. The project proposes a remodel of the existing single-family residence to be remodeled into a 2-unit residence with no added square footage. Unit 1 would be 635 net square feet, and Unit 2 would be 635 net square feet. The existing non-conforming garage is to be removed, and 2 new carports are proposed, providing 4 covered parking spaces. A new concrete driveway and curb cut are proposed to accommodate the proposed carports. And the project received project design approval and was continued to consent for final approval with the following comments. 1, the overall project is acceptable and well thought out. 2, there needs to be a more definitive pathway and hardscape from the garage to the Cacique Street entry. 3, the board would like to see irrigation and landscape plans to show that the existing show the existing trees. Confirm with the city if and what type of street tree will be required on the Cacique Street Parkway. 4, the board would like to see augmented landscaping along Ensenada Avenue by showing full ground coverage to the curb and improved groupings of plantings. 5, show the trash areas and indicate the interior surfaces of the garage, including the ceiling, will be plastered. 6, clean up the drawings to eliminate the extra light fixture on the side. And 7, the compatibility findings were made.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'd move for approval.
I'll second.
All right, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six,
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. And then the approval of the consent minutes for today, March 18th.
Thank you. We had 2 items on today's consent agenda. Item A, 1514 Anacapa Street, proposal to convert the existing 1-story office building into apartments comprised of 3 2-bedroom units developed under the city's AUD program in 1 ADU. The project includes alteration of the existing uncovered parking area adjacent to La Paz Avenue to accommodate a new enclosure for long-term bicycle storage and waste recycling, a permeable patio and privacy fencing for Unit D, replacement of select windows and new doors for Units A and D, and a small cupola with matching roof tile and stucco to house heat pump water heaters. Planning Commission granted approval of the parking modification and open yard modification on February 8th, 2024. The project was here for PDA and final, and it received PDA and final with the following comments. Revised the new French doors to have horizontal mullions to match the other patterns in the windows, and the project compatibility findings were made. Item B, 602 East Sola Street. Proposal for revisions to PLN 2011-158, including revised front porch roof line, window and door alterations, and minor exterior material changes. And the project received a review after final approval with the following comments. The revised as-built plans are in substantial conformance with the plans that received final approval on October 3rd, 2011. 2, at the front porch, the stone cladding on the corner column shall appear to descend to grade. 3, between the rock columns, there shall be a wood fascia on both sides and front, also descending near ground. 4, the new proposed stairs to be of the same material at the width originally approved, and the fascia painted the lower wainscot color. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I'll move we accept.
Second?
Okay, let's take a vote.
A discussion point, please, Chair. I would like to ask staff if for the 602 East Sola, if staff found that the project was in substantial conformance with the proposed Bungalow Haven District guidelines.
Yes, staff confirmed with our architectural historian that there was a historic assessment completed and it's not on the inventory list. And yes, we did.
Okay, thank you.
Great, let's take a
Okay,
vote.
we'll take a vote. Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six,
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, let's move on to announcements, requests by applicants for continuances and withdrawals, future agenda items, and appeals. Anything from staff?
No announcements.
Anybody? Nope. Okay. And any subcommittee reports? Nada. All right. Let's move on to item 1, 425 Garden Street. The project consists of demolition of all on-site structures and construction of a 4-story, 36-unit residential complex with common rooftop amenities. The project proposes two moderate income rental units, 4 very low income units, and 30 market rate rental units. No parking is proposed. Consistent with the city's AUD ordinance, project is proposed at a density of 94.74 units per acre. Final approval is requested. Project requires compliance with the plans granted PDA on the January 23rd, 2023, and it was last reviewed January 22nd, 2024. Okay, do we have our minutes from the last meeting that we can pull up?
We do. Before we get into those, our case planner, Will Russell, is here to make a staff announcement for the project.
Welcome, or yes.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you. Good to see you all again. My name is Will Russell. I'll be taking over the project from Megan Arciniega. Staff just has some brief comments regarding this project. Per the state law for housing, once the project is deemed complete, the applicant has 5 hearings to receive planning approval, and it is not obligated to any further public hearings. Today is the 5th hearing for this item. So if they wish to return for additional hearing, that is left up to the applicant. But staff is hopeful that the project is ready for final approval. And if there are any remaining items that you would like to see addressed, the board can choose to grant final approval with conditions, which would allow staff to verify any remaining items. And I'll be here for the remaining, for the item as well too. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then if we have the minutes.
Yes,
from
I
last
have those
time.
pulled up.
I think it would be helpful once you introduce yourself, and if you can just go through the different items and where they are located, that'd be helpful for us, yeah. Okay. Is everybody familiar with our notes from last time? Okay, you have the floor.
Hi, Sean Ridenauer, Air Studio Architects. And we have,
Greg Mendonca, I'm, with Wood Architecture, or Landscape Architects.
thank you for all the comments last thing. I think a lot of them were very well received. The first comment, to reduce the height and apparent weight of the cantilevered balconies on the west elevations. So we took a look at those. Let's see here. Oops. So if we look at the overall elevations, so we took them down probably about 6 inches from what they were. There was a larger curb, so we took it down to the minimum we could do to maintain that edge and drainage back into the balcony. So I can show you that there's a detail on sheet 1009. If we can jump to a page or not. Is this the latest set that was uploaded?
This is.
Let's see.
Oh, sorry, I see that says previous plans right there. They
Okay.
should, sorry, there you go.
Sorry. Okay. Oh. Yeah, it might be faster. Okay, yeah. Yep. Okay, we'll go back to the elevation now. There we go. So that's the revised. And if we look at the detail. There we go. Yeah, so that's about 6 inches off of that than what it was before. And then the next one, more decorative way to handle mechanical vents through the elevations. That was in regards to the flood louvers from the trash enclosure. and the lobby. So we're proposing a tile vent detail, or a breeze block tile detail there instead of a metal louver. And then we had discussion about the control joints in the plaster. We had looked at that. We've drastically reduced them, but we would still like to maintain a few of them in the large planes of the building. So instead of every floor level, we're doing a primary one at the 3rd and 4th floor, and then a few vertical joints where we have a large plane, just to minimize that cracking. There's a roof at the gable right here on the front end. We had revised the transition that occurred at the corner here where it wraps back. So we've taken the same profile as the rest of the eave, brought that around, and added a little decorative cornice there to allow that to terminate properly. And then the base detail, the column to express those a little more. So that goes up to that wainscot. The fire sprinkler backflow, double check. We have relocated that from the front of the building to the side. So it was located over here next to the front gate, so we've moved it over to this landscaped area right here. Allow us some better landscape screening. There were some light fixtures on the elevation that were close to the eave. We brought down. And that's these here. So giving a little bit of space between the eave and the light fixture itself. And then there was a comment on the transformer, and we're working with SCE. Where we have it is basically where we're limited to having that to make it work. We looked at trying to provide a screen to this bedroom. There's not enough clearance between that window and the wall to add something in between there. We did add a solid gate to the front of that. So instead of a wrought iron, we have a solid stained gate. And then we mimic that with the man door next to that. And then we added a note to provide a wrought iron steel picket fence.
Can you please speak into the microphone
sorry.
when you're reading?
We,
Thank you.
we added a steel picket fence at the north property line. That was requested. And then the other comments for landscape, I don't know if you want to
Yeah, sure.
pull that out.
Which, is that the end of the set, or is it?
Yeah. I'm going to go to your planting plan.
Yeah. Tree and ground cover plan there. See, we had comments about the visibility of the building from the sides and views out from the structure as well. So we added some perimeter trees and vertical elements to give a little more height to the planting. Again, add screening and also screen the parking lots that are would be seen from the interior of the building. Palm trees at the front were thought to be in conflict with the existing trees, and with the stature of the existing trees, they already are providing quite a bit of screening at the front of the building. So those palm trees were removed, and what you see here is we're just highlighting the planting that we already had defined, which is giant bird of paradise, to kind of accent the vertical columns in front of the building and give a little height to the planting there.
I can bring up the rendering of that.
And I think with the rendering, the existing trees are much larger than shown here. And when you look at it from across the street, you know, they are 25 to 30 feet tall and should have quite a significant impact on the front of that building.
Obviously, the giant birds will get a lot larger than
They,
you're showing
they
here.
will, yeah.
Multiple trunks.
Yes.
Do you have an elevation of the rear of the building? The west face? Sorry.
No, I don't have a rendering of that. I can bring up the rear elevation, but it doesn't show any landscaping on it.
If we do go to the shrub planting plan, the one right after the trees,
Okay.
a perimeter fence was added to the rear of the property. We did add trees to screen the big block building that's behind.
Right.
And then a vine was added along that fence as well. So in between trees, we had vines that are then going to grow on that, I believe it's wrought iron fence that's in the back, correct? Yeah. So you can see the triangles there indicate vines and then the trees that are planted.
Okay. And that concludes the comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will open public comment for this project.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I have no slips for this particular item. If you wish to make a comment, please fill out a slip and bring it to me. I see no one in the audience moving to do so, so we will move on to virtual public comment. I do not see any hands raised for virtual public comment, and we did not receive any correspondence written for this particular item. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, we will close public comment and go to questions from the board. Mr. Six, would you like to start?
Yes, I'll be concise. Is there, I think, on your site plan, is there any technical reason that the double check valve cannot be pushed away from the street a little bit more? Is there something stopping you from doing that? I think it's, and it's still not asking it to be perpendicular, but can it be pushed back further? So at least it's not proud of the building.
So we have a walkway here.
Okay, you can't notch
We could
that.
probably go back a couple of feet.
Yeah, so you could notch that hardscape there a little bit more? And
Yeah,
get it
so-
back
and there's
down?
a site wall here with a gate
Ah, I got
as
it.
well, yeah.
Well, anything you can do to push it back would be good. Do you, one of the comments about the mechanical vents. I think you have a different vent now. And instead of an exposed grill, you have a hood. Is that correct? And where
yeah.
is that specified?
Yes. So this is just a more standard eyebrow
Yes,
vent.
I understand what it is. Is it specified somewhere?
Yes,
I don't need to see it exactly, but
yeah, it's on,
a mechanical plan?
we have it detailed.
Okay.
A10.11.
And also never mind. And the other issue, one other issue we have is the transformer is still exposed to the side. I think if you go to your overall elevation, south, whatever that is, would that be the east? South overall elevation. No, that's the northeast. It would be around the corner. I don't think it shows up on I think it's the overall elevation.
Okay. The elevation.
No. It's the side elevation facing the freeway.
Does the existing plaster wall screen that?
Yeah, I think that's it.
This right
Yes.
here.
Can we zoom up on that area? Bingo. So,
It's right here is where it would be, yeah. It's not shown for clarity to show the building.
oh, okay, it's way back there.
Yeah, so it sets right here, behind a solid wall.
Oh, bingo, okay.
Yeah.
That, I was confused, so, great. So there's only a little bit of your new wall standing above the existing neighbors. Okay, good, thanks. That's all my questions.
Okay, Vice Chair Whalen.
No questions, Chair Anderson.
Okay, Mr. Black.
Let's see. So on your irrigation plan, you showed generally where the backflow preventer is going to be?
Yes.
But it seemed like there was a note there that said to be final location to be determined in the field.
As per, as it's indicated on his plan. I showed it out of the planting for clarity, just to show all the equipment.
I understand.
Yeah.
But it's generally going to be in the same vicinity as the
Yes.
the double check?
Yes.
Essentially in that vicinity?
Yeah. My note is more just to indicate like where it's specified on the civil and architecture plans is where
Do
it's
you
going
have,
to
like,
be.
do you have a note on there that said that that would be screened by landscape? Just sort of to document the fact that that's what we want.
Yeah, I mean, we do show
I know there's planting.
quite a bit
in
of
that.
planting around
That
it,
I
yeah.
understand. I just want to make sure that it's understood that that's
yeah.
one of the reasons to have planting there.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see. Could you tell me what the dimension is from, let's see, the west facing, it's basically, I call it the rear of the building, but the west facing, between the building and then the property line where you've got, what is it, a new wall you said? I'm just trying to understand how much planting space there is. You've got Brisbane box, which I think is a good choice because it's upright. You also have Metrosideris, which it's not upright per se. It's got a pretty decent canopy on them, and I'm just concerned that the canopy is going to be too big for
little
the
too
for the
wide.
space, as opposed to any other sort of upright tree you may select. Like I'm just throwing it out here, but Stenocarpus, even one of the smaller eucalyptus, like Nikolai. I mean, just something more upright, because you do have a 4-story building here, so.
Yeah.
And I think the Brisbane box does that job, but you only have 2 of them back there, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, just something to consider. But,
Okay.
those
Yeah,
are
on the
all-
rear, we vary from 5 feet to 8 feet, depending on
Okay. So
ins and
it's,
outs.
it's reasonably tight for any kind of tree, for the most part, but,
To the property line, yeah. And
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's kind of staying within our property.
of course.
Yeah.
Those are my questions.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Noon?
No questions.
Mr. Soffren?
No questions.
Okay, I just had a follow-up on the balcony detail. So I'm actually thinking we can go to your rendering and look at that. I was wondering what color you're painting the corbels that are holding up the balcony, the faux corbels. I don't know if they're, yeah, maybe you're,
It might not, let me see.
yeah, or maybe on your color board.
These right here,
Yeah.
they were the same,
They're staying white.
same white as the
Okay,
main walls.
those are my questions. Any follow-up questions? Any comments? Yeah, let's go to comments. So, Mr. Six?
Well, I think it's ready for final with very few comments for the staff to verify, and I appreciate the patience that the applicant has given us through this. But I think what's been delivered will be a successful building.
Mr. Whalen?
No comments, Chair Anderson.
Mr. Black?
Yeah, nothing really to add. I think it's ready for final as well. I just made that comment about the species of tree, and
Yeah.
we just want to rethink that, but
Yeah, duly noted. Thank you.
thank you. That's all.
Okay, Mr. Noon?
Nothing additional. I agree with previous comments.
Okay, Mr. Soffren?
Nothing additional.
All right. Mr. Six, would you like to make the motion for final?
Yes, I would make motion for final approval as presented with the following comments, that the double check valve and the hardscape just in back away from the street from it should be modified to maximize the distance from the check valve to the street. And what else was there? I'm kind of spacing out.
You mentioned something about the vents. You asked for a detail, but they
No,
had
the
it.
vents, I appreciate that they're drawn as if they are the hood types, and I have confidence they specified it somewhere. Mr. Black, do you have any comments on the trees to
Well,
be firmer with that?
I'm sorry. As it has to do with maybe reconsidering the species of tree, instead of the Metrosideros, have a species that would be more upright in character.
Staff will need to know.
If it's possible to we need to have like very specific stuff listed, or at least for the tree type, just because it is final approval, and we'll be going off to a building plan checker myself, I guess, for zoning to verify said tree.
Yeah, I mentioned in passing Stenocarpus, the firewheel tree, but, I don't want to do his job for him. It's just,
Yeah.
he's the designer. But such as, we can say such as.
My fear is just to stay away from being vague. But if the applicant's willing to come back and
Would changing and adding more of the Brisbane box, which is a larger, narrow tree,
Yeah.
be satisfactory?
Yeah, I think, when I first looked at it, I thought 2 didn't seem, for building that large in elevation, that maybe more than 2 would be good. But if you wanted to provide a little bit of variety, if you will, but I think the Brisbane box can be your primary massing, and then if you want to have something smaller,
Possibly the eucalyptus Nikolai. like
the
you-
Nikolai perhaps, yeah.
So,
Okay.
pardon my interruption. If, maybe it sounds like there's a consensus on the tree, but to the applicant as well, you're not obligated to come back.
Let's put this into the motion, so.
Right. And just to kind of finish that thought, you're not obligated to come back, but if for some reason you want to take a look at it,
Yeah.
we can work after the fact, for kind of a quasi, it's kind of a review after final. It's not a formal hearing whatsoever, but it would be at your discretion if you wanted to return, and we could reach out to
Can't-
Board Member Black to kind of verify.
Can't we add to my motion a definitive decision on that back, like X amount of the nickel,
Eucalyptus Nikolai.
full-
Well, I don't know how many trees. you
3 of
have back
those
there,
and 5 of the Brisbane box or whatever?
but- Well, if we wanted to go, I'm not designing this for you, but
No, I know.
Well, okay, let's
Yeah.
pull up the plan, and
Yes,
then if you can
take a
give
look,
us
sure.
a recommendation of what you'd be
Okay.
willing to put in, then we can put that into the motion.
let's do
and
that.
Just
sign
try
off.
not to interrupt. and-
So right now you have 2 Brisbane boxes and 1, 2, 3, 2, 3.
Yeah, and then
Four
Brisbane's
of
at
the
the
others.
corners, just around the corner, so yeah, we could change those to Eucalyptus Nikolai, those 4,
Okay,
Metro Sideros.
okay.
Change the 4 on which,
On the south side, are the Metro Sideros okay on the east and west sides of the property?
Well, I'll pose that question to you because it seems,
Again, so more upright, we can.
yeah, I
again,
mean,
Yeah.
are you familiar with stenocarpus?
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, maybe just for contrast, you could have those on the sides.
Okay.
I mean, they'll get like 25 feet eventually,
yeah,
but give you a little color.
we can do that.
So
So
for the-
Stenocarpus on the sides and eucalyptus in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can we
That's a
be
nice variety.
specific about the numbers there? So we can put this to bed?
The numbers will stay the same, it's just the trees will be replaced in kind, as it is indicated on the plans.
so the trees on the sides will be replaced to Stenocarpus, and the trees on the back will be replaced to eucalyptus.
Yes.
Although, I'm sorry, so you do have Brisbane box on the sides.
I do, yes.
So in my mind, those can stay because they're going to be the biggest.
Yeah.
But if you want to just switch out
I
the
was-
Metro Sideros
I was
for-
just saying the Metro Sideros be switched out, not the Brisbane box.
Oh, got it. Okay, then I'm clear.
Is staff
We have
clear?
specific numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah, tell staff how many there are of each.
One Metro Sideros to be switched out for the Stenocarpus on the east side and one on the west side. And then on the south side of the building, 4 Metro Sideros to be switched out for the eucalyptus. Nikolai.
Great.
All right, I think I'm happy
second
with
that.
that motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's take, do you want to read it real quick, just so we make sure we got it?
It's recorded.
Okay, all right,
got
let's
it.
take a vote.
Okay, Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
No.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes?
Board Member Six,
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. There is a 10-day appeal period, and the appeal process is up on the screen. So, thank you.
Thank you.
To Chair Anderson, at this point, I would recommend a 5-minute recess. The next item is not scheduled until 4 p.m., so the earliest we can start is 3:45 p.m.
Thanks. Item 2, 621 West Micheltorena Street. Proposal
Can I interrupt?
to,
Board Member
oh,
Anderson,
yes, thank you.
Apologize, I've got a conflict, so I'll have to step out.
Okay, I'll see you back. This is a proposal to demolish the existing two-story, 4,000 square foot medical and professional office building and construct a three-story, 16,863 square foot medical and dental clinic for the SB Neighborhood Clinic's new West Side Clinic. Second and third floors will be above ground floor parking garage containing 11 parking spaces, including 1 ADA and 12 bicycle spaces. The 10,454 square foot lot is in the commercial restricted zone with a general plan land use designation of commercial medium high residential. And the project received planning commission approval for the following applications. A CUP to allow a state licensed medical clinic to operate in the CR zone, a development plan for non-residential floor area, and a parking modification to allow fewer parking spaces than required. Final approval is requested. Project requires compliance with the Planning Commission resolution and the plans granted PDA on January 22nd, 2024, when it was last reviewed. And before we jump in, do we have anything from staff?
Yes, thank you. We have our case planner, Kelly Broadison, here for any questions.
Okay. And then do we have our meeting minutes that we can pull up quickly for everyone to review?
Yes, here they are.
Okay, everyone familiar? All right, if the applicant team would like to introduce yourselves and walk us through the changes and possibly just walk us through the comments from the last meeting and how you addressed them. Thank you.
Okay, Brian Cornell. Tina.
I am Tina Go.
Robert, you need to push your microphone on, Robert. There you go.
Robert Newton, SWA Architects.
So we had said at the last meeting that we'd come back in progress. Unfortunately, that meeting was canceled because of the potential floods, and we got delayed, I think, about a month. So we are here for final today to be able to get through all of that. And there's lots to look at, but I thought we'd start with the renders, with the new renders. There we go. So a few things. The concern was with the dark, or with the siding on the top and the detailing, and we looked at a number of possible solutions, including a continuous eyebrow around, and at the end of the day, we felt that just a colorful awning against this dark siding, and by the way, it is not black. This is the actual color that we're proposing, so it's sort of a slate gray. And I really think that that's going to be a lot, very elegant against the white plaster. And in fact, we've got the white sample here, as long as we're looking at samples. So that's the white, and this would be the window color. It seems like that detailing is really that awning element. Go on back to those renders, Tina, please. So I think that, what the dark does is it really recedes, and I think the awning really adds a nice detail. We also lowered that parapet to the greatest extent possible. You can also see in these renders, I think in the lower left, we added a little more detail to that upper band, and also adjusted some of the detailing of the banding around that. You can see the band that is at the tops of the first floor windows was also moved. It was up higher before, and we brought it down to the actual head height. That area above the window that you see shaded differently, the intent there is for that to be a spandrel glass, so that it feels like an actual larger window. So that isn't quite a good depiction of it. And we do have a sample of that, what that spandrel glass would be. So that would be the regular glass on the that would be the spandrel glass. There is a lighter version, but I think that darker one works better, just FYI. So I think that really, I guess what we need to do is go back to the minutes and see what else there was to address. I know that we've got there's a sandstone cap detail on those planters, which you did not see before. We have that detail. And maybe we should go back to those, because I don't have a copy, so thank you. Want me to take your copy, or you have a copy? Thank you. You were
Thank you.
always, okay?
Do anyone on that side need a copy?
Yeah, so we did, number 3, we raised that head height, as we had discussed. And we studied that 3rd floor, which we talked about, and basically resolved the headers of that and added those awning elements. Did we move the bike parking?
Yes.
Okay.
Site plan. Page. Make it a little bigger. I'm not familiar with this program. There we go.
Yeah, it's,
Oh. There.
and then we were asking for sections. Do we have the sections through the different street locations to show how the mechanical screen will work?
Yes. Exterior.
Here you see that added little band that we added at that top parapet, which I think helps.
Now my bookmarks are working. And then the sections are in,
Just to see that screen, I think you all can see that we did lower that screen, so the renders that we were actually showing show that you can't see that mechanical equipment. There we go.
sorry,
That's why I'm not operating it, Tina.
it's very jumpy. I think it had too much coffee.
There we go.
Just make it bigger.
No, the sections, let's look at those. The sections below is what we want.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is,
there you go.
this is a view.
Yeah. So this shows those sight lines, so we really brought that down as much as possible, and I think, again, if you'll go up to the render, I think it really does illustrate that it's going to be impossible to really see any of that mechanical equipment. So I think that addresses the comments. Happy to go through details if you would like.
Yeah, I
to.
think maybe just touch base on like light fixtures and any important details that we need to review for final. And maybe the material of the screen at the top, if
Yeah,
it's
we
the same
have
as the
that.
siding.
We didn't bring a sample of that, did we? The screen? But we have a detail of it.
That's,
You can see the light fixture before you change, Tina, you can see the light fixture, number 6 there. No, it's right, it's just number 6 in the lower left. So that's just a very simple little sconce fixture that will light up and down.
So it is up and down.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Some of the bookmarks don't. So this is,
Maybe go to the detail sheet. Tina, I think the screen shows there.
no, it won't jump to the bookmark. So let me just go back this way. There's no 230. Let me just go through. 300? No, it was definitely,
Okay, check your detail bubble. So it's a full height metal screen, bronze in color. It
Can you please speak into the microphone?
Sorry about that. Full height metal screen, bronze in color is what we're proposing. It's got a reveal, those are horizontal reveals in it, so it's solid, you can't see through it. That was one of the earlier ones where it was, you could see through it and they would have seen the tan of the equipment behind there, which we don't desire. And so, can you find that detail on there?
Yeah.
so it was 400.
Yep.
How about this one?
Oh, there you go, that one, yep.
Can you zoom in?
Must be in
Can you
those
click on the detail?
420s or something.
Oh, no, it's
It
not.
is 17420.
Yep, there we go, right there on the left side of the drawing. So it's a solid panel. Centralia is the company that makes that, the finishes on that, and so.
And then there's the detail next to it, I think, shows the reveal of the windows. It also shows that upper parapet. Scroll on up, Tina. So that's the parapet
Up here.
at that entry element. And then the deep recessed window that's below it, and then the canopy detail below that. On the upper right is that main parapet detail, so you can see how that sort of chevron design works. And of course, the green roof is beyond that. That's what the third floor looks out on. Down in the lower right, you can see the little planter with the sandstone cap. So that is, that's just a concrete wall that'll get a skim coat plaster finish. And let's go to the next detail sheet.
So this is one of the windows.
Yeah, I mean, we just have the simplified parapet that's over that entry element. So I think that's it. Let's just go to questions.
No additions or changes, just updating details.
Yes.
Okay.
Where did we put the parking, the bike parking? Maybe we got to show that.
Maybe just show us on the plan.
Yeah, it shows
just-
up on
The site plan might be easier to look at.
211, A211.
211.
So this is your parking and striping plan. Has the 11 spots, and then those boxes there, they're double stacks.
Right there.
Right here.
There's a pair there, one near the other stair, and one in between, near the electric room and between stalls.
Those are, I think we were talking about exterior bike parking.
Yeah, the
So if you
bike
just have a
parking at
site
the
plan that,
front door.
Okay.
I know you showed us in the rendering, it'd just be helpful to see it on the
Yeah,
site plan.
101, there you go. Zoom in up there in the front. And it's right there, right outside the stairs there.
Right there.
It's moved
Right
right
there.
to that
Yeah.
location there. You want to zoom in a little bit more? Yeah. I know, it's such a small line.
So before it was flanking the front door.
Okay. All right. We will now open public comment.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I will start with in-person public comment. At this time, I have no slips. However, if anyone wishes to speak, please fill out a slip and bring it to me. I see no one in the audience moving to do so, so we will move on to virtual comment. At this time, I do not have any hands raised for virtual comment. And on this particular item, we did not receive any written correspondence. So at that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Thanks. We will close public comment and move into questions from the board. And Mr. Soffern, do you have any questions?
Yeah, can you just refresh me? I'm sorry, I was just trying to remember why that third story needed to be so high. The interior of it.
Good. And you're asking why we increased the
Well,
height?
let's go to this section.
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, bottom line, it comes down to really where for the plumbing, at the second floor, basically, that set the floor of the third floor. And, then there is just the mechanical equipment all coming down from the roof that has to transition. So that's really what that height is. And we try to minimize that parapet to the greatest extent possible around that. Robert, you may be able to answer that better than I.
Where we were is in order to get the mechanical, because it's a medical building where we need double air exchanges, the ductwork needed to increase in that when we ended up doing the design work. And so as we were raising it, we wanted to make sure we were withholding to below I think 45 feet that was our max. So we had brought that in. That's why it did get raised at that location for that air exchange. And then at the last meeting, there was a request to see about trying to, let's see how much we can squeeze that down. So that's where we were with the equipment screen and the parapet at this location here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next, Mr. Black.
Just a minor question. I noticed there's enriched paving at the entrance. Do you have a picture of what that looks like? Maybe you showed it to me before and I didn't see it.
Go to that,
So materials here, and then the actual samples. Full-size sample of the Rio blend and the color sample of the champagne.
excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's the champagne.
City TV, can you please show the materials? Zoom to the materials on the table.
Thanks.
You want this guy too?
Oh, sure, if you can get it.
That's heavy, huh?
That looks terrible on the screen. Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you. And no other questions?
Okay, Mr. Whalen.
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Six.
I know it's late, but I think it's the domestic check valve right in the front. Do you have an image of that and how big that beast is? It's a box right now.
So let's go to near the front door, Tina.
It's just a nondescript
Yeah,
box right
so,
now.
yeah,
but
so
what,
we've got-
what does it actually look like?
So one of them is a domestic, and one of them is an irrigation. So those would be like the backflow preventers above grade. They're usually not very tall. I don't have a photo of it. We're talking around the side there, item 10, that's where the fire.
Yeah, the great big one.
Yeah,
Yes, I
that's where the great
understand
big
that.
one is,
And we
yeah.
made an effort to turn that around the corner, but is the nature of the domestic line such that is it linear? Can it be turned to provide more screening between that and the street? Or do you have any ideas? Are there any drawings that would shed light upon its footprint?
Archer, do we have that, your landscape, the screening of that?
The screening, yeah.
No, there's the requirement.
I'm talking about,
I think we want to see a drawing or a photo, right?
does the mechanical have a better rendering of the large box?
Yeah, they don't. The box is a placeholder, but obviously, I mean, I'm saying we could turn that sideways so that as it came in, there could be the landscaping in front of it to help.
Yeah,
mask
if it does have a thin and a fat, it'd be better to turn that
Yeah, okay.
to where it's the thin is parallel to the building, so there's more landscaping. And I don't know, whether there are choices in the materials, but and I don't know if it's worth considering, but the hardy board material for one, and then the screen. Well, basically the material board. Is there a more matte finish that we could?
For the hardy board?
For the hardy board?
Well, it is it's pretty matte, and then, of course, that other detail is, here it is. You know, what we did was select this with that detail
That
at
detail,
the bottom, so it adds a little bit of extra detail to that hardy board, but that is, you know.
That's what they offer?
Yeah,
That's a pre-finish?
I don't think they have a different finish other than this.
No, they have that, or they had the kind of the rift or the board cut.
Yeah, I don't want that.
But it's pretty matte.
Okay. I think those are my questions. Thanks.
I just had a few questions. It looked like a ladder was added to up to the roof on one side, and I just wanted to confirm what the finish of that was.
So yeah, there's roof ladders in the back, and as we're working with Brian here, we think since they're up against the hardy
Yeah,
board,
it's just a
we would
black metal.
paint them
Okay.
similar to
I thought
that.
I saw them anodized somewhere in a rendering or something.
No.
Just confirming.
Because it would be painted.
No, we would.
Yeah.
They're going to be
Metal.
steel.
Kinda like go
I'm gonna
away,
think
yeah.
that they might have brought them in from Revit family
Yeah,
with
probably.
aluminum.
Most likely.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not buying those. So.
And then on the light fixtures, can you just tell me what lumens and temperature you guys selected for the light fixtures?
Let's see if we can get that off the.
Let me see.
Electric. I know, I'm familiar with the requirements of the city's lighting standards. Not bright.
Yeah.
And not shining.
Yeah, typically, we like just down lights, so that's why I'm curious.
I lost my thing on the side here.
Yeah.
Electrical.
You can click the arrow on the left-hand side. There's a small arrow. If you scroll down or go down,
See this?
Oh, here.
and then the top, yeah.
Ah, okay.
And so that fixture has we have a down and an up light in it, but they can be just down or up, depending on,
But you're proposing up and down.
yeah, and up and down.
Photometric.
We debated that light fixture, so if you all would like us to explore a different fixture, we're happy to do that.
Let me see where it is here. They don't list it.
There you go. I think it's. LED parking.
Is it F?
Isn't it that the, you may have to pop over to the plan, Tina, that we can get the,
To the electrical.
The electrical plan, yeah.
Let me just zoom in.
Just a reminder to the applicant team, if you can please speak more into the microphone so the audience and everyone online can hear you. Thank you.
There.
Yeah, zoom in there.
This is the photo match.
Yeah, that's fine. You can zoom in.
I don't think it
It'll
has to,
least-
go
It
a
doesn't have
couple
the
more.
exterior?
Yep. Keep going. It'll be a full-size plan. There,
No,
back up one,
Right there.
up to the, it's, okay, fixture W. It's,
Didn't know it was going to be such a difficult question. Huh?
I know, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, it was on the material board. I didn't see the info though.
W. Make it a little bigger. There. It has 14, 15.
Minimum 14.
no, it's a 35 watt, but it doesn't have the Kelvins in it, so.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on, let's look at this.
But we can certainly get that and
Okay.
make sure within that, and again, as Brian had mentioned, if there's an interest, we can still look at another fixture.
Yeah. Why don't you pull the material board back up and then we'll see if there's any other questions from the board? Follow-up questions? No? Okay, we'll move into comments. Mr. Soffren, you want to start? They're here for final. Right, yeah.
I don't really have anything to comment on. I appreciate the adjustments and modifications made since our last meeting, so I think it's a great project and should continue to get to move forward.
Great, thank you. Mr. Black?
Yeah, I would agree, and I think that's suitable for final shown here.
Okay, Mr. Whalen?
A couple of small comments and one larger reservation. I suggest that the rough stone planter cap on the front of the building, that it be a rough hone and even a quarter round to discourage skateboarding activity, which will really compromise a beautiful stone cap. I really appreciate the adjustments to that parapet band cap. I think that really brings the building to life. But I do have to express some reservations regarding the third floor's different material and especially the dark color. I think that's going to raise a lot of quizzical eyebrows after it's built as to why did they do that? But nevertheless, I appreciate it. And it's,
You can point to me.
well, I will. Like when you go on an airplane flight, you have to trust the pilot. I'm trusting the pilot here.
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, Mr. Six?
Yeah, I have the exact same, curiosity about if this is going to work, and the proof will be in the pudding when it's up. It's an experiment on diminishing mass and so forth, so it'll be very interesting to see if it's successful. And if it's not, we'll blame the Cornells. So
Thank you.
and just the minor thing about exploring the actual dimensions of the domestic check valve and maximizing the screening in front of it. Other than that, I think it's a beautiful project, and especially given the intense program on a small site, I think it's been, as previous, I think it's very well handled and sensitively done, and minimizes the impact as well as it can. Thanks.
I also agree it's ready for final. I would just recommend $2,700K for the exterior light fixtures And I would make sure there's no major hot spots if you're doing the up-down light.
Should-
Just down?
Yeah, I think that's,
I
up
yeah, I
is
don't
against
see
our
up at all ever.
lighting design
Yeah.
guidelines.
I think that's fine.
Okay. So downlight and 2700. And those would be my comments. So let's make a motion for final approval today with the following comments. This project is in compliance with the Planning Commission Resolution number 016-22, and it is in substantial conformance to the plans granted PDA on January 22nd, 2024. Comment number, I guess that's 3, I don't know. The equipment in the front shall be turned to maximize planting between the street and the equipment. The planter stone cap shall be quarter round and rough honed. And the exterior light fixtures shall be downlight only and 2700K.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Okay. Let's take a vote.
All right, we'll do a vote. Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Six,
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. There is also an appeal, 10-day appeal period. Process is on the screen. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
I'll take that, David.
Stronger man than me.
We will need to take a recess, yeah?
We can take a recess until 4:35.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Architectural Board of Review for March 18th and move on to item number 3, 3102 State Street, a proposal for alterations and additions to existing commercial building and parking area involving the partial removal of an upper floor, 193 net square foot lower level addition, expansion of an outdoor dining patio, and interior and exterior improvements. Parking is to remain the same at 13 spaces, and 8 bike parking spaces are proposed. Project received staff hearing officer approval for 2 front setback modifications on October 12th, 2022. Project design approval and final is requested. Project requires compliance with the staff hearing officer resolution in compliance with the project compatibility findings, urban design guidelines, and Upper State Street area design guidelines. Project was last reviewed on September 6th of 2022. And before you jump in, anything from staff?
No comments, but I do have the minutes from the last time it was reviewed available.
Great. Let's pull those up. So since it's been over a year, looks like the modifications requested for parking in the front is acceptable. The planting material along the 3-foot planter, the 3-foot planter along Calle Palo, Colorado should be studied carefully to provide maximum screening. Architecture and solutions are very positive and will be a fun place to be. The location of the bike parking should be relocated off the front State Street sidewalk to interior portions of the site, and the exposed beams of the original building should be maintained. All right, so if you guys want to walk us through how you address those comments, any changes, and walk us through all your final materials and details, then we can look at it. So if you want to introduce yourself, and you got 15 minutes.
Great. I am Lauren Ballantyne, and I'm project architect for Sherry and Associates Architects. I'm here with Don Sherry, the principal architect, and Robert Richards, our landscape architect. and we'll just get right into it. I have pulled up our revised site plan. This shows the comments that we were addressed. Number one, regarding the planter area being squared off to provide additional landscape screening. This happened here. This space was at a diagonal before, so we have the additional landscaping there. Comment number 2 was a statement that we agree with. We think it's going to be real fun. And then number 3, the location of the bike parking should be relocated, and we've done that. It has now been relocated off of the walkway and out of the front. It was here previously. I'm happy to pull up the old site plan if you need at some point. And then the comment number 4 was in regards to the existing beams of the original building, and we agree that they should remain. They weren't shown in our concept plans, but they're there now. And let me go back to zoom out here. I can show you on our elevations. Let's see if I can go. So we have them here. Maybe our renderings are a better example, but they're there. They will remain. You can see them here. And that's it for the comments from the board, and I'll walk you through some of the material changes while I have the renderings pulled up. We made minor alterations to the perimeter wall of the patio as far as material goes. Before we had, it's supposed to be wood, horizontal wood, and we thought it better to be more durable, better withstand water from the irrigation, and more cost effective than the natural stone as well. We decided to change it to a stucco. It will be painted to match the building with a concrete cap. And you can see that here with the glazing on top. Same for the fireplace. The built-in fireplace feature will be stucco with a concrete cap as well. Other changes, we actually expanded the addition, and I'll go back to the site plan for that. We have this extra area has been added to the addition that was not added in the previous version that you saw, and that just makes for a more efficient kitchen layout. And I'll show you on the elevations what that looks like now. Here. It's just more of a continuous surface. This is in the rear of the building, so you won't really see it anyways. And the side profile, let's see, this is unchanged from the previous iteration that you saw. So it's really just the length of it. And we have mechanical screening that has now been added, and it will be the same material as the wood siding, just so it kind of blends in. I have a line of sight diagram as well, so you can see that all of the mechanical units will be screened properly from public right-of-way. And the other changes are just to the water feature that we have designed. We have specs for now. Let me actually pull up there we go. So the paving material that we're proposing at the patio, we have 2 different ones. I'll let Robert walk you through those changes as well as the landscape screening in a moment. Natural stain wood siding for the addition. The existing board and batten will be painted to be Swiss coffee or similar color. And we're replacing the tile roof with a dark shingle roof. These are the exterior light fixtures that we have specified. This will be for under the trellis, and these are the exterior wall sconces. This is the prefab water feature that we have in the back, and we are also proposing space heaters at the trellis. Here's an example of the materials that we'll be using, as the trellis will be constructed out of steel, and we'll be using natural wood. And we'll be using furniture, just purchased furniture for the patio instead of built-in banquette, but it'll be similar to this. Those are all the changes, and I can walk you through some of the details. Let's see. So for the architectural details, we have details for the fireplace, the outdoor fireplace, our parapet wall, roof drainage, siding. We have specs on all of the fixtures. I can just answer any questions in detail when you're done just walking you through what we have. This is our planter walls with the concrete cap. This is our mechanical screening on the roof and our trellis details. And I'll give Robert a chance to jump in here and review the planting plan with you, and then we can answer any questions.
Cool. Thank you, Lauren. Do you know what, I assume it's kind of at the end here, the landscape. Is it up there? Okay. Here we go. All right, so these are some renderings that demonstrate the planting for the site. So we incorporated in the architectural changes, and then I guess some of the items you could note here is we've got some planting on a screen on the building. In the back is the fountain, which Lauren just described to you. Some of the planting that's visible from the front. We've got some nice olive trees, some white roses, some lavender. There's some rosemary and some agaves, so kind of walk you through how that's detailed. We have an irrigation sheet. So there's two different pavers detailed here. We're using this Angelus Courtyard paver for the pedestrian pathway that comes to the front of the restaurant from the sidewalk. And then this Bellegarde Urbana paver is going to be on the patio. I think the planting is pretty much what we had proposed before, which you guys all seem to be in support of. I think the one recommendation was to try to get maybe a little bit more robust of a plant in the 3-foot planter here along the sidewalk. So got the Raphiolepis in there. Raph Minor, I think you recommended that at the last meeting. Then along the back here, we've got a 6-foot high fence with a vine to screen this utility area in the back. Trying to think any other notable items. Let's see. Here's some details on the paving. This is an example of the fence with the full body stain. I detailed out the planters that are integrated into the wall. We've got the permeable paving. Let's see what else we have here. This is how the screen is going to be installed for the vine to grow on the building. And then specified some concrete planters to kind of match the architectural styling. There's some lighting that's proposed along the path coming into the restaurant. Got some of these PK path lights. I proposed a few underwater lights in the fountains, and then there's 2 really nice existing canopy trees, so we're going to try to get these down lights that have the screen on them that'll kind of have some nice like dappled kind of ambient lighting on the patio there. So I think that kind of covers the landscape. Did you want to go through anything else here, Lauren?
I think so.
Or Don?
Do you have any door window details that you can run us through?
So we actually only have 2 new windows and 1 new door. So we'll be matching existing, but let me see if I can pull those up for you. I think they're probably on 36. So we have the door and window head at the exterior board and batten. It's just a trim that we're adding to match existing. And then there's the window sill and jamb. And let's see, that might be it. I don't think we have any in an alternate material.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we will now open public comment.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I have no slips. However, if anyone wishes to make a comment, they may fill one out and bring it to me. I see no one in the audience moving to do so, so we will go on to virtual comment. At this time, I see no hands raised for virtual comment. And on this particular item, we did not receive written correspondence. And at that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, we will close public comment and go to questions from the board. Mr. Six is ready to go. So.
How'd you know? Yeah, there's no fire sprinkler, so there's no double check valve to be concerned about, or is there? And where, if so, where is that located?
We do have it shown. Yeah, we do have it shown. Let me pull up the site plan for you. So we located that here. Let's see, 36 might be. Yeah, so that's the approximate location of our riser, and all of that will be here in the back.
So that's indicated somewhere?
Yeah, it's reference note 36.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
right here.
And the landscape back check valve?
Do you know which sheet that's on? I know we noted it on our, is my checklist here, maybe?
It's not in that folder, no, but if you use, on the left-hand side, you can use the bookmarks to help you navigate easier.
Page 17.
Page 17. And then, let's see.
Maybe go up one sheet, so that's in detail for us. So. You hear me here?
Oops, sorry.
Lauren, where you had indicated the other backflow, it's right in there where you got the cursor, pretty much.
Right.
It's up against that fence, so it's
right.
kind of buried in some planting.
And then could you briefly review the exterior lighting plan and extent of fixtures and so forth?
Absolutely. Up more. I know it's so painful to watch me scroll, guys. I'm sorry.
A lot of sheets.
The last customer
All
had
right,
even
here
more
we go.
difficulty.
I think this is our, oh no, one more. Nope. Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't know why there's so many annotations on this. I'm not sure it shows up the same way on my PDF, but we have a sconce at the door, a couple sconces between the windows here, again at the other door around the corner. There's one on this side as well, near the windows. We have the pendant lights in the trellis, 3 of them. And then along the back here, we also have a few sconces at the ramp and back door as well. And that's it for the exterior lighting. An adjacent one here, since there is parking in that area.
Okay, this is interesting because I was going to withhold my comment. Right here on this plan, the eyebrow canopy that wraps around the entry there,
Yeah.
you have that, you have the canted double columns, and that corner one is at an angle, but all the renderings show it.
Right, yeah. That's, I mean, this is a background issue for
Oh.
the electrical engineer. I can show you on the architectural plans how they appear. If I go back up here. Oh my gosh. Get a head start.
So you have a plan of it?
Yeah, I can show you on my plan just so you have an idea of where those.
So it's not at an angle?
No, and the elevations will also show it more clearly. So here on the floor plan, we can see where they land. We decided, initially they were going to be in the planter, which is why it was at an angle. We decided to locate them outside, provided a better footing, and it helped so the angle could remain consistent with all of them. If one was shorter, it was kind of a funny detail there. So these two run parallel with each other. This one is perpendicular,
Yeah,
or
I
these
know.
two are as well. And then the elevations.
So the reason it was that layout is you didn't want to avoid altering the corner of the planter?
Yeah, and also just the spacing between the two posts, you know, it was going to be different than the ones that went all the way down to the ground. It just had a kind of an awkward, we tried it both ways, and we decided that this, let's see if I can get a,
That's all right, I understand.
so this is the side view, and then from the front elevation,
It just looked really busy when you had different angles, and to keep, like Lauren said, when everything's consistent, it just looks cleaner.
yeah, this one right here is a really good view of what's going on there. So these two come down, you know, parallel to each other, and then these are the same along that side, so.
All right, thank you. All right, I think those are my questions.
Mr. Whalen.
Just one small clarification. If you can go to your image 31, I believe it is, there are a couple of bike racks that appear in those elevations. And could you locate those? There's one.
Oh, I see.
And then if you scroll to your right, there's another one. Those are not the ones off the front sidewalk.
These are the ones on the front, because
Those
this
are
is,
the ones?
this is at an angle in order
Yes.
to get a straight view, you know.
So where are the other two?
So those are the two in the front.
Yes, I
and then-
understand that.
And then we have this.
That one.
So this is actually 4, and this is 5 and 6, and these are the long-term bike parking spaces. They need to be covered. They're for employee use, so that's why they're in the back.
Employee.
Right.
And in the upper elevation there,
Yeah, so
Yes.
these two are probably better seen on,
so that's the same one.
Same
We're
ones,
just looking
just
at
from
the
the back.
elevation at a different angle.
right.
So they are not public, they're in the back of house, right?
The one is in the back of house. And then these two are the ones on, off the path sidewalk.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Black.
I just want to be clear, so are all the low walls, the little screen walls around your patio and out in the parking lot, they're all stucco now, despite what, like, if I look at these elevations, it looks like these low walls, some of them are stone.
Right, so
Are they?
the existing planter walls that we're keeping, we'll be rebuilding for the same material because we want to keep continuity with the existing structure. And then all the new ones that are the perimeter to the patio, we're proposing now in stucco.
Got it. And then
So, you know, so there's no weird transition along the patio, and then this is a separate feature. It's at a different height, different purpose.
and those are made in the same stone as I'll call it a tower element.
Exactly.
all-
Yeah, the old sign tower.
The old sign tower. And I realize this is not our purview signs, but, so I assume that that's going to be a sign, the big round element?
I believe so.
Okay. And then also too, I wasn't clear, is there a wall where the front end of the cars are between the parking lot and
There's-
and that planter on the corner?
There's there's an existing.
You show me where that starts and stops? I wasn't really clear.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
there's this little existing, again, that's a signage wall.
Right.
And that will be rebranded, but will remain.
But there's no wall along the front of the parking
No.
stalls?
No.
It's just all landscape?
Correct.
Okay. For some reason, I thought I saw in the rendering that there was a wall there, but I guess not. Okay.
It might have been the signage one,
No, the
yeah.
signage I understand, so,
Yeah.
okay, cool. And then question for the landscape architect. So you've pulled we talked about the RAF minor in that narrow little strip along the street. So are you pulling, what are your primary screening materials as you come around to the front ends of those cars?
We've got the iceberg roses and the lavender in there, and then I think there's some grasses in there. I think it's like lamandra or something like that. And then
Okay.
it's kind of a mix of stuff. But yeah, I didn't bring the Raphiolepis into there, if that's a question.
Okay, those are my questions. Good, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Noon?
Just a couple quick ones. On the wall out front there that's right along I think, not that one, I'm sorry. Right. The one at the walk on the approach, correct. You've got plaster there. Did you consider anything else other than plaster?
Yeah, initially we had considered a wood, horizontal wood,
Okay.
and we thought that wouldn't be very durable with the
Okay.
irrigation.
And the concern of the plaster with abuse, and there's no concern on that getting beat up there at the walk?
Not as compared to some of the other natural materials. This wall will be constructed of CMU, so we wanted to, apply covering to it that
Yeah.
was more aesthetic than the CMU.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so the trellis is steel and wood, is that correct?
Correct.
And that's black? All that's painted black?
Yeah.
And then you've got sconces that are black, but then I think the pendants at the trellis, I see those are bronze?
They're the same. Let's see if I can pull this up here.
Are they black?
Yeah. They're a dark bronze finish. Finish.
Yeah.
It's a fancy new treatment
Oh,
that's
okay.
applied to light fixtures.
Okay. Those are my only questions.
Mr. Sofrin?
No questions.
Okay, and then I just had a follow-up question on the concrete cap for the walls. Did you guys consider a stone to tie in the other stone elements? Or what was your thought on the concrete?
Yeah, we did, and since we have a concrete style water feature, and then also on the fireplace, we like a nice clean concrete surround. We thought it would just tie all of those features in together.
Okay. And then, I couldn't read it, but the temperature of the light fixture, did you have that? I think you had it selected, I just couldn't read it.
And also, since we're going to be mounting the post for the glazing on the concrete cap,
Makes
we
sense.
wanted a little bit of a more stable surface. And let's see. Oops.
It just keeps the more rustic existing stone, let it be what it is on the building, and let all the site elements be a more contemporary finish.
All right, let's see what we have here.
Okay. Yeah, great. Okay, those are my questions. Any follow-up? Yes.
Yes, Madam Chair, thanks. Have you started discussions with the sign committee whether you can have a sign above the eave of the roof? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we have not begun any
Great.
discussions.
And just to reconfirm, there's no additional landscape lighting, uplighting the trees and so forth in the dining areas and so forth, correct?
No uplighting's proposed.
Okay. Just,
Is there landscape lighting out in
Yes.
the landscape though, right?
Yeah, there's path lights or some, and some light. No, there's no uplights.
There aren't, okay.
they're just all low ballard and so forth, correct?
The path lights are angled down, and then there are some lights that are going to be suspended in the trees that shine down onto the patio, but there's no lights aiming upwards.
Very good, thanks.
But those are ambient lights. The ones
Correct,
in the
and
trees,
yeah, they're very subtle.
Yeah.
There we are.
I'm good.
Okay, great. Let's start with, let's go into comments then. We're done with questions. Mr. Six, do you have any comments? It's here for project design approval and final, so.
No, I'm fine with the project. I just think that the corner battered support of the eyebrow should be at an angle. I think it would look much better, but no, I will forgo that.
Okay. Okay.
But other than that, it's a nice project, and looking forward to seeing this long, tired property be revitalized in an exciting way.
Great, thank you. Mr. Whalen?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. It was my comment about the beam extensions be exposed, at least to something larger, that I appreciate about this project, that it does reflect mid-century modernism. It's a one-off in Santa Barbara, but I appreciate how the light fixtures, even the roofing shingles, bring out more of that mid-century modernism, and I would encourage you, as smaller detailed decisions had to be made, that you look at perhaps Palm Springs vis-a-vis mid-century modernism. And yes, it's been 18 months, and I go by this site a lot, wondering when's the fun going to begin. So I'm happy to have you back and support project design approval and final design approval today.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Black?
Yeah, I would agree with those comments. The only thing I would have you sort of re-look at is the amount of screening that you have, I think, with iceberg roses and lavenders and stuff. I mean, ordinarily in a city parking lot, you'd have to have 42 inches of wall or fence or what have you, and I'm just kind of wondering whether you think that the iceberg roses and lavenders are going to do that job in a sort of, you know what I mean? Just look at it and think about it. That's all I'm asking. So just.
Okay.
Working for final.
I know. I'm aware. So it's maybe it's just a matter of getting the planting a little bit denser in terms of your spacing.
Burn up the dirt.
Yeah, I mean the iceberg roses can do that, but
Yeah, but I think the planting is pretty dense in there, the way that it's proposed, so we'll see that when it's put together, that it's
but I just think it's a relatively prominent corner, especially as viewed from State Street. So you don't want to be reading the front ends of those cars from the street when you drive by. That's my only thing. So,
Fair enough.
So just take a look at that.
Okay, I appreciate the comment.
Sure.
Mr. Noon?
Yeah, I'll reiterate what the other board member said. I agree that it's ready for PDA.
And final?
And final.
And final, sorry. I would support that. I would comment, obviously, this is not a condition, and just something that I thought would be add to the fun, maybe a different finish than the plaster on that wall. I don't know if it's like a concrete, something cool with concrete, or I don't know. I agree, though, that that wood was not the right move, but I just wanted to mention that. Obviously, just an opinion, nothing that I would add as a condition.
Thank you. There
Yes.
will be a lot of landscaping right in front of it as well, so most of it will be concealed from the front. And on the back side, we have seating. So there's not a whole lot of the wall itself that you'll be seeing.
Mr. Soffren?
Great project. Looking forward to seeing it get done.
All right. Okay, so we're here for PDA and final. So, Mr. Six, would you like to make a motion?
All right, so I will make a motion for project design approval and final approval. Do we have any comments?
No.
We don't have any comments, definitive comments, so
You can say that, nope, that's all you can say. So, project compatibility.
find that it will be a very successful project and appreciate the work that's gone into it. So, and the project also meets our compatibility findings, that it is, number one, that it is consistent with the design guidelines applicable to the location of the project. Number two, it's compatible with the architectural character of the city and neighborhood in the particular neighborhood it's surrounding it. There, number 3, there, it is the same mass, bulk, height, and scale as the existing project, so there is no issues there. Number 4, there are no adjacent landmarks or historic resources that are affected. As well, number 5, there are no public views of ocean and mountains that are affected. And number 6, there is a very generous use of open space and landscaping involved in the project.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, let's take a vote.
Okay, Chair Anderson.
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen.
Yes.
Board Member Black.
Yes.
Board Member Noon.
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And there is an appeal period of 10 calendar days, and the appeal process is on the screen. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we can now adjourn our meeting for March 18th.